Your mic's on. Just hit that button.
Here.
Here. Stand if you are able for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We'll move on to item 4, agenda approval. I would like to switch number 7 and number 8. So Ellie from Northspan is able to get on and not listen to the nuisance hearings.
So moved with the switch.
Support.
Moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Item 5, consent agenda.
So moved.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Consent agenda items, there were none pulled, so we will move to the nuisance hearing, or I'm sorry, number 8 presentations ahead of the nuisance hearings. No, right away, we'll get you on the road, so.
Great, thank you. So I need to press something there, right?
Nope, you're all good, yep.
We're good?
You're good.
Okay, can everyone hear me? We're good? Great, thank you. Good evening, thank you for having me today. As the mayor mentioned, my name is Allie Building-Camps, and I'm here from Northspan to talk a little bit about the East Range Joint Powers Board and what the board has been up to for the past year and what we're kind of looking forward to in the next year here. So thank you for having me today. We're going low tech. You should have in front of you the kind of slideshow here, so if you want to just follow along with that, that would be great. So Northspan is the contracted organization. We've been working with the East Range Joint Powers board for the past 8 years. And I've also included some information for you, sort of a summary of what Northspan has been working on during those 8 years. And if you have any questions, you can certainly contact me afterwards, and I'd be happy to walk through that with you as well. So just a quick reminder, the East Range Joint Powers Board is a formal partnership between Aurora, Biwabik, Hoyt Lakes, and the town of White. The idea is that some challenges are bigger than any one community can take on alone, and working together lets us do more with what we have. So things like housing, workforce, childcare, business development, they don't really respect municipal boundaries, and so our work reflects that. We work with the whole region and all of the communities within it. So the work that we do generally falls into about 4 areas: how we collaborate as a region, how we communicate, how we address community needs, and how we bring outside resources in. So tonight kind of touches a little bit on all 4 of those. Thinking about regional collaboration in the last year, one of the more meaningful shifts was building the structure for this collaboration. And to that end, we reestablished a regional administrators group. Now meets regularly. In fact, we have a meeting tomorrow. It's become a great space for shared problem solving. Started some early conversations around shared fire service, what a feasibility study might look like. We also moved forward on regional energy and infrastructure conversations and began some early coordination around trails and recreation. None of these are finished, but this past year really showed some of the things that we can do when we work together as a region. Housing has been one of the most consistent challenges across the region. This year we focused on putting the right tools and partnerships in place. We secured about $40,000 for the Seller Readiness Rehab Program. The program addresses a pretty specific problem: homes that owners want to sell, but they can't qualify for standard financing because of their condition. So it covers up to $5,000 in repairs per property to get homes up to USDA, FHA, or VA standards. It's a very targeted program, but it helps unlock transactions that just would otherwise stall out. All 4 communities are also now working with North Shore Development Company, which is an important step toward having real regional housing strategy rather than 4 separate efforts. The next slide, business support. One of the more valuable things we did this year was to go out and actually talk to businesses across the East Range. We did 10 in-depth visits where we tried to understand what's really going on. And the overall picture was more encouraging than you might expect. About 80% of businesses said their revenue is stable or growing. Roughly half expect continued growth over the next year. 5 had active expansion plans, and nearly all of them said they plan to stay and keep investing locally. So that's a real vote of confidence in this region. That said, there are some consistent challenges. Workforce is uneven. Some businesses are having a hard time finding people, others are doing fine. The bigger issue around supply chains right now isn't so much availability as it was, as we saw toward the end of the pandemic, but cost. That's the bigger issue. Prices have stabilized, but at a higher level than before, which puts pressure on margins. None of that is probably a surprise. What's encouraging is that these conversations are already turning into results. Going to these businesses and visiting them with them one-on-one, we've seen a direct connection between the business visits and the loan inquiries, and at least 1, and I actually think 2 loans have already been made and more in the pipeline. So helping to get that loan money that the East Range Joint Powers Board has out into the community. We've had several summits in the past 2 years. We hosted one in May of 2025 at Giants Ridge, and this last May we hosted the next East Range Joint Summit at the Aurora Community Center. Had about 45 people or so. The participation was strong across all 4 communities. Keynote speaker led a thoughtful conversation about living, working, and improving small communities. And then we also had some social opportunities with her. Her name was Deb Brown, and had some social opportunities so folks could, talk a little bit more in depth with her. We've also made some real progress on telling a more unified story about the East Range. A joint marketing committee got up and running. It developed a shared marketing plan, started producing video content. We're getting rolling on that. The goal is to move from 4 communities, each promoting themselves separately, toward presenting the East Range as a connected, compelling place to live and work. I would urge you, if you haven't been on the East Range Joint Powers Board website, you can certainly check it out. The whole marketing committee strategic plan is on there. You can see what they're planning for the next year. There are some shared challenges, and it wouldn't be an honest update without talking about where things are hard. Childcare is the first one, probably the most pressing unresolved issue. There is a space that North Span, East Range Joint Powers Board members, Marketing Committee have looked at that could work for some childcare, but it needs about $60,000 in renovations and an operator. So we've been working to possibly create an RFP to see if an operator could come in. Both are solvable, but they do need to come together, those pieces, and it does take time and resources. Capacity is another challenge. Several initiatives are limited not by funding or vision, but by staff time. A number of things we'd like to move faster are waiting for more bandwidth. And then the long haul complexity. Some of the bigger issues like emergency services, housing development, policy alignment across communities are genuinely multi-year efforts. Progress is happening, but it is worth being clear-eyed about that timeline. But we feel that the East Range Joint Powers Board really put some strong foundations this year in collaboration. So the priorities for 2026, again, housing, moving from planning into implementation. All communities have active plans through North Shore Development, and the focus now is on identifying some shovel-ready projects and getting hopefully at least one development moving toward construction. The loan programs, as I mentioned, they are open and active. Loans are being made and new applications are coming in. The work this year is continuing to get that capital out into the community. The East Range Summit will be doing another one in the spring of 2027. I have to remember what year we are, 2027, which is a great opportunity to bring folks together. It's open to everyone, bring folks together to talk about the opportunities and challenges that are in this area. Again, marketing, we'll continue the marketing committee. That's become very strong. I think they meet monthly or every other month. Childcare, again, we're working with entities like the school district and First Children's Finance, looking to improve the state of childcare across the area. And then policy and funding. There's a fair amount of behind-the-scenes work happening around things like business permitting, franchise fees, cannabis policy, emergency services, and then also strengthening our grant readiness with the IRRR. So the overall theme for 2026 is really about turning the groundwork from last year into visible, tangible results. And I think we're genuinely set up to do that. So the next piece I'd like to talk about a little bit is North Span's role, and just a brief activity summary of what we've been up to for the past 8 years. It would take a long time to go through all of it, so we'll just go through it quickly. But I want to give you a clearer picture of how North Span specifically operates in our role with the East Range Joint Powers Board, what we do, how we decide what to prioritize, and what that's looked like in practice over the 8 years we've been your contracted staff. So how do we decide what we do? We are strategic plan driven. Our work is driven by a 3-year strategic plan, the most recent of which was created in 2023 with the East Range Joint Powers Board. We work methodically through the items in that plan, checking them off, tracking progress, and then we report back to the board on where things stand. Worth noting, the plan isn't a wish list, it's a real roadmap that shapes how we spend our time. That being said, the plan isn't the limit of what we do. We're always available to discuss things that aren't listed in it, and communities bring us things all the time to talk about and to work on. When a community flags a need or an opportunity, we take it on, and that's what we feel being a true partner means. I want to touch a little bit again on the business visits. They're one of the most important and consistent tools that we have in our sort of economic development tool belt. We've completed 3 full rounds, one in 2019, one that spanned 2022 and 23, and then again in 2025, with multiple businesses visited in every community. We really make it an effort to visit as many in each community as we can. So how it works, we check with communities to find out which businesses would benefit most from a visit. Then we go out and actually sit down with them, listening, gathering feedback, and tracking what's changed since our last round. And then what it produces. The feedback isn't just anecdotal. We use it to drive real changes. It gives us a real boots on the ground sort of perspective on what's happening. The relaunch of the East Range Joint Powers Board Loan Fund came directly from what we heard in the field several years ago. We also share aggregated findings with the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce to inform statewide business policy. And then again, more than half of all loans issued through the loan fund trace back to those connections made during the visit. So they're not just informational, but they're a real pipeline as well. And then speaking of the loan fund, when North Span took over administration of the East Range Joint Powers Loan Fund, it had been dormant for years. Not a single loan had been issued. We've since recapitalized the program twice, more than quadrupling, that is the hardest word for me, the amount of money available to lend. So where has the funds gone? Some examples here. COVID-19 relief grants provided relief grants to 6 businesses in Aurora, 2 in Hoyt Lakes during the pandemic. 7 loans have been issued, 1 each in Biwabik, Hoyt Lakes, and the town of White, and 4 in Aurora. And 2 more applications are currently under review right now. The Seller Readiness Rehab Program, we've supported 1 area homeowner through this program, which connects to the housing work and remains available, which is important to restate. It still remains available. There is money in that program, or in that loan fund, so we would love for that to be used as well. Broadband, in 2020, North Span took on leadership of a regional broadband assessment aimed at positioning the East Range for new investment. That effort led directly to a project connecting scenic acres in the town of White, as well as expansion in neighboring Biwabik Township. Together, these projects leverage hundreds of thousands of dollars in outside funding that otherwise wouldn't have come to the region. Grant support. Throughout all 8 years of this partnership, we've been available to help individual communities pursue grant funding, which has included 2 successful grants in Hoyt Lakes. We remain ready to provide that added capacity whenever communities need it, and we always make a point of bringing representatives from the IRRR to at least 1 or 2 East Range Joint Power Board meetings specifically to talk about the grant funds that are available for this region. And then again, the administrative meetings, we've started those up again to meet quarterly and talk about different things that are happening in each community. Marketing, again, we're working on that regional marketing, and we're planning to continue to do that. We established a marketing-specific strategic plan, aligns East Range communities with Giants Ridge, and expanded cooperation with Discover, The Range, and Hello Range. So not just our marketing committee, but reaching out to entities across the region that are also doing marketing for this region. So the goal is to tell one coherent East Range story instead of 4 separate ones. We also provide DAWN programming. DAWN is a program that North Span runs. We provide this programming as an extra at no charge to the East Range Joint Powers Board. And through it, we've supported several businesses and entrepreneurs through our whole DAWN programming that come from this region. And the work has included business concept development, business plan refinement, participation in educational cohorts, and preparation to pursue additional funding. So we're always happy to do that. If there's an entrepreneur in the community, small business owner that needs some technical assistance, you can reach out to us, and we are happy to provide that at no charge. And then we also do additional business advocacy. We have successfully advocated for local business interests before the Biwabik City Council, and we've workshopped several childcare concepts with interested operators, including exploring partnerships with Mesabi East. Business success stories. There are some real success stories that we've had the opportunity to support. Not all of them came through the same door, some through business visits, some through the loan fund, some through DAWN programming, but all of them are part of the story that we want to tell. Some examples: Golden Paws Dog Training started out as renting space in Aurora, excuse me, and grew into a brand new facility in the town of White that now draws customers from well beyond the East Range. Revolve, formerly Stern Industries, acquired new equipment and added over 20 jobs. Sean Callahan in Biwabik expanded lodging options and took on creative revitalization work on Biwabik's Main Street. Red Top Construction expanded a new business. Norma Jean Joff supported across multiple ventures, including building rehab and helping shape the Seller Readiness Rehab Program based on needs she identified as a local realtor. So those are just some of the businesses that we've worked with over the past couple of years. And I want to take just a moment here to talk about what we have not done and why. This slide is intentionally titled What We Have Not Done. What we have not done is active business recruitment. So at no point has the East Range Joint Powers Board directed North Span to actively recruit businesses to the East Range, and we would advise against it. Successful recruitment requires substantial incentives, TIF, tax abatement, financial packages like those that the IRRR can offer. The East Range Joint Power Board doesn't have access to those tools. Rather than compete in that space poorly, we focus on supporting organizations that do, particularly IRRR and Apex. We have very strong partnerships with both of those entities and others. Where we have helped on sites, that said, we've supported site readiness work in the past, including helping prepare the Alaskan Energy Park when it was being marketed, and an earlier exploration of development along the Biwabik Depot rail spur. We play a supporting role in these efforts when it makes sense, and we're happy to do so. But our focus is on the strategies that really work, attracting people to the region, building capacity for existing entrepreneurs, and helping existing businesses grow. That's what the evidence supports, and that's where we put our energy. Economic development has changed substantially over the years, and it's worth being honest about what that means for a region like ours. What makes it hard? Northeast Minnesota's limited labor supply and distance from major freight corridors, combined with the state's overall business climate, make traditional business attraction genuinely difficult. One regional bright spot, IRR's financial power, has been a real asset. It nearly landed a Louisiana Pacific plant in the late 2010s and has created opportunities at the Aurora Industrial Park. And what we know actually works. Research is clear that in this era, the most effective job creation strategies are not chasing new employers, but attracting new residents, building up existing entrepreneurs, and helping current businesses grow. That's why we focused our energy on broadband, housing, childcare, regional marketing, the supports that make the East Range a place people want to live and build a life. We also know that not every business idea will succeed. Many of the nation's most successful entrepreneurs have failed multiple times before getting it right. Our role is to help people through that process and to support through experiments and setbacks and to be here no matter where they are at their journey. So just one last piece here, the value of the East Range Joint Powers Board gives the East Range something that many small communities genuinely envy, a real functioning structure for cooperation. That structure has been behind some of the region's most meaningful collaborations, from the East Range Police Department to the current water project. It creates a regional mindset and a culture that allows communities to act together rather than in isolation. And the future is regional. With tight local budgets, limited population growth, and tightening purse strings at the state and national level, the pressure to pool resources is only going to increase. The communities that have the infrastructure to collaborate are going to have a real advantage, and the East Range is one of those communities. So holding the line on cost. Despite years of high inflation, the East Range Joint Power Board's overall budget and what each community contributes has not changed since North Span took over as contracted staff. For $110,000, covering a broad range of services, administrative expenses, and staff support, each community pays just $15,000 a year. For context, Hibbing and Virginia each pay individual staff salaries that approach the entire East Range Joint Powers Board budget. The regional model makes that level of support possible at a cost no individual community could achieve on its own. That's the value of the East Range Joint Powers Board, and North Span is proud to be part of it. Thank you for having me here today. If you have any questions, I'm sure you'd be happy to give contact information.
Absolutely.
Great. Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
We'll move to item 8, the nuisance hearing. And with that, I will suspend the regular meeting at 18:20 and open the nuisance hearing. Okay. Item 7A, we are on 200 2nd Avenue North. Is anybody from the property at 200 2nd Avenue North here or a representative here? Michael, I'm gonna shut that. Okay. So these pictures, though, that are in the paper packet are from today, because we're on 200 2nd Avenue North. Oh, it's, I think it's this one, right?
Yeah, that's the original one, yeah, those are the original rates, they're actually the secondary one. The biggest issue with that, property was the red clear up front. And that was continued, and it was supposed to be that, it's still there at this time, so.
I got it, give me 1 second here. The order was the same, I thought it was just the top one. I need to look at the actual address.
So all we have left is the trailer then, is what you're saying?
Trailer and stuff underneath there.
And the trusses.
He's making progress. I don't know, council, what are your wishes?
Well, I'm just wondering how much time do we give him? I mean, he's already had, what, 6 weeks at least? I mean, I guess I would move for abatement, give him 1 more week, and if it's not taken care of, then the city will abate.
That's a motion.
Yes, that's my motion.
I'll support that. It has been moved and seconded to give one more week and then abate. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 7B, 126 3rd Avenue South. Is there anybody here from the property? Or boy, he did a lot of improvements.
Yeah, there is, like I said, the front's been all taken care of, but the back is, atrocious, I guess, is the best way to describe it, so. And that's a frequent flyer every year.
Yep. And there has been no contact, right, from,
No, until it's come to, rectify the contract. No, that would be blocked, or right at the corner of First and Third, so.
council?
I make a motion that we move to abate.
Moved and seconded to abate the property at 126 3rd Avenue South. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 7C, or technically 8C, sorry, is 418 4th Avenue North. Is anybody from the property or a representative here?
So on this property, it's legally reached out to City Hall. I have had no contact. I know they did contact City Hall, I think it was last month. There's a couple campers in the front yard. He's licensed a couple of campers now parked on the street. So that's what they are right now, he's trying to sell them. But there's still one camper that's not have current registration. And then right there, you can see all the car parks, brake doors and whatnot. So he's not taking care of all the property, but I don't know what the arrangement was. We had the City Hall. We initially spoke to them, so.
Well, we gave him an extension at our last meeting.
You have since the 23rd. There hasn't been any additional contact over it.
So he has the one camper parked on the street that doesn't have valid plates?
That one has valid plates. I think it's parked in the street, it's current registration now, but one on that's still on the property, still has expired badge.
And he did nothing as far as cleaning up in the back?
Yeah, we can do that.
Well, I'll make a motion to move to abate.
Moved and seconded to abate the property at 418 4th Avenue North. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8D, 403 4th Street North. Doesn't,
That's the one that you can't hear because the individual has a restraining order. That was when we talked about last time. Was when we go to back to the property. Like that's our
So Larry, we sent this blight notice. The property owner has a restraining order and is not allowed to go on their own property.
We gave her a notice of hearing. Yeah, right, hire somebody to go on and fix it up.
That's what I was
If you didn't
thinking.
do that, then I'm
Okay, just wanted to make sure we were within our, because she's been made aware of this. It's not like this is, she just doesn't know about it.
Yeah, two letters. The question is, we should give the letters now, because she's not allowed to, not get the property. So the mail's going in, I'm not sure.
So the mail would be
Po-
going to a PO box.
P.O. Box,
Oh, yeah.
P.O. Box, yep. Is it? Yeah, the notice has the street address, but I'd be fairly certain that the post office puts. Oh, there we go, okay.
Did you talk to Sherry since the last? No, before the last. Well, I'll make a motion to move towards abatement.
Support.
Moved and seconded to abate the property at 403 4th Street North. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay.
We'll take care of focus on this. We'll need at least 2 or 3 officers, that's where we're gonna sell this place now, so.
Yeah. At least you guys don't need directions. You know where that one's at. Okay, moving on to item 8E. 140 Fifth Avenue South. Is anybody here from the property at 140 Fifth Avenue South?
They had spoken, I believe, to City Hall just prior to the last meeting, I don't know if there's been contact since. I think there was one vehicle that was licensed, and one was removed, but there's still remaining 2 vehicles that are expired. Most junk out there.
Are the tires gone?
Oh, yes, the tires are done, yes. The one that up against the garage.
I know, well, I walked by today and they have at least maybe 6 vehicles. They have 2 parked on the street and I think 4 in the yard.
3 of the 4, but it's, I might tell you that's why I'm not.
And they're allowed 4 vehicles.
So they've made significant progress. I guess if, yeah, I would, I'd like to afford that same 1 week. You got another week before we abate kind of thing. That's the only thing I would,
Is that your motion?
yes, I will make that a motion.
I'll support.
Been moved and seconded to allow the property owner at 140 Fifth Avenue South to 1 more week to abate, otherwise we will move to abate. Any discussion?
How will that communication be with that person? If we send a letter today, will we get after?
I'll just go make personal contact.
So that will be, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I would say 1 week from the personal contact. If you don't get to him till tomorrow, so,
Yes.
okay. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item 8F, 303 6th Avenue North. Is there anybody here from the property or representative? And I'm assuming no contact.
He has received all the letters. He's not blind to this.
No, it's kind of been a game. I mean, like I said, we show up at the property, take 1 or 2 weeks on that. He just sees the stack up there. The van is licensed, the rest of it.
There's also one in the backyard and I think a box with truck.
Yeah, there's a picture of that truck, yeah. It's a box.
council wishes.
I'll make a motion that we move to abate.
Moved and seconded to abate the property at 303 6th Avenue North. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Move on to item 8G, 801 3rd Street North.
This one, so we did get the correspondence. I also spoke to this individual as well. They are working in the Healy area, and they're looking at somebody basically asking for time I see on this. The council, but that's his situation with that job that he's always been dealing with, how much more he needs to take care of things.
And a lot of the vehicles technically are running under other landowners. We will be seeing those in the county landowners, just go that way with it. There's one landowner present here actually. Even though we know that that's not his, that was not his item. Because of the way the parcel is set up, it's 20 owners. And you'll receive a order to
He'll just pay the taxes, it's fine.
What's that now?
Well, and I think, we've afforded the time frame for anybody else that communicated, and I believe this individual should get the same.
So are you looking like till next month?
I would,
He's open for another 5 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks. That's your motion, I suppose, right?
I would turn that into a motion to continue till the August meeting, which I believe is the 10th, yeah. I don't know, Dan will be in charge of that one, so. Sturgis, told you a long time ago for that one. There's a motion and a second to give a continuance at the property of 801 3rd Street North. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8H, 703 1st Street North.
This is the long grass.
That was the complaint on grass, it wasn't rectified.
I'll make a motion to dismiss.
I'll support that. Been moved and seconded to dismiss the complaint at 703 1st Street North. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 8I, 111 First Avenue North. Is there anybody here representing the property owner? There's not. And this appears to be.
Motion to dismiss.
It moved and seconded to dismiss the complaint at 111 First Avenue North. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That concludes the nuisance hearing. We will adjourn that portion and reconvene the regular meeting at 18:38. We'll move on to item 9, mayor and council member reports. Councilor Berg.
Most of them have been checked off, other than a thank you to the fourth, that went pretty smoothly. Kim and her crew did an outstanding job. Out of the nuisance, I've heard this group compliment the fire departments and the public works and this and that over and rightly so. Well, we've got 2 gals up here that have been running the city for a long time. I think we're very fortunate to have 2 seasoned individuals that we're fortunate to have. And a thank you to them. That's it.
All I got is, thanks to BACA and all the volunteers, fire department, and then, of course, all the citizens and people that showed up for the 4th of July. Between the morning parade and then all the fun and games in the park and then the night parade, it was a great day, good weather, and it was a good turnout. So thank you all.
Counselor Levy.
I thought the Fourth of July was great. I saw a lot of kids playing in the park. And I want to thank all the volunteers that made Fourth of July happen.
Counselor Waller.
I wasn't here for the 4th of July, so. I just wanted to mention that we're continuing to care for the city flower beds in the park, down at Public Works, and at the west entrance. So we're always welcoming volunteers every Monday from 10 to noon, although today we did not work on the flower beds, it was too hot. And then we'll talk about it a little bit later, but we received 2 grants from AARP to do some improvements at the park, and we plan to apply for additional grants for park improvements. And we're hoping to hold a couple meetings coming up with people in the community that can support us as far as businesses go, and to let the citizens know what we would like to see happen and get citizen input, and share the survey results. So that's something that will be coming up hopefully within the next couple months. And we will be looking for additional people to help volunteer for some of the improvements that we need to make with this grant money. And that's all I have.
Excellent. Thank you, Counselor Waller.
Oh, wait, I have to thank Michael. I have to thank Michael for writing the grants. And I was really optimistic that we were going to get him, and he's like, don't get your hopes up, don't get your hopes up. But I thought, when I saw the grants after he wrote them, I thought we would get them, and we did, so yay. Thank you.
Excellent, thank you. I'll segue off of that, and I just want to thank the Age-Friendly Committee between Counselor Waller, citizens, Mary Riley and Jan Urich. Am I forgetting anybody that's active? It's just basically.
Carrie Hill just joined us.
Carrie Hill is now at.
Yeah.
The amount of dedication to making a difference in our community has been astounding, and if we could get that kind of dedication out of everybody, it'd be unstoppable. So I can't thank you guys enough for all the work you're doing there. And as we progress through that process, the more doors that open will be fantastic, and hopefully those doors will be handicap accessible. So with that, I'll also mention the same as everybody else, the 4th of July celebration was fantastic. I did a radio interview in WCCO that morning at 6:45 in the morning because the radio morning show host, parents and grandparents were from Biwabik here, so that was kind of a interesting way to start the morning. So it was much appreciated, all the work that went into the parades, just everything, the kids' games. I mean, between Kimberg, the fire department, the public works staff that somehow managed, even with a giant storm in that week, still managed to get everything done. Thankfully, we have some pretty awesome summer workers as well. So able to get a lot of that done. And I will say we did probably much better than some other surrounding communities. So lots of good feedback from everybody that celebrated. So definitely made America's 250 pretty special here in our small town. Other than that, I don't have anything else, and we will continue with our agenda. Item 10, there is no old business. Item 11, we'll move to Resolution 2026-014, IRRR resolution for taconite environmental protection funds.
So moved.
Support.
It has been moved and seconded to approve Resolution 2026-014. Is there any discussion?
I'm just wondering if you have a list of areas to be fixed.
We do.
Okay.
It's any area that's weedy. So you've got in front of City Hall here, in front of Honk the Moose, there's a spot down by the dentist office, I believe. The big section of mulch that has been just kind of dead from people walking to the post office, in front of Pizza Co., where they put down the AstroTurf, so they don't have to do that anymore. And then there's a section down in front of the building 122 that's just a square of nothing. That's also going to get fixed. So those were part of that funding. So now that we've approved this, then we can get that project rolling.
So do you have somebody that's going to, I mean, are we just going to be calling for bids now, or who is going to do the work?
Michael, do we have to?
We don't have to do a sealed bid. The IHR is treating it sort of like a regular grant, so basically you have to submit like a grant request, even though the funds have already been allocated. So if they have any specifics that they want us to follow, I would ask them. But otherwise, it doesn't fall within the automatic sealed bid. So we could potentially ask vendors, get a few quotes, and then pick one from there. But I guess I'm going to kind of wait to see what the IHR says now that you submit this, just in case there's something weird with this bucket of money that needs to be protected someplace.
Well, because I'm asking also because we had that other plan for the park, and I'm wondering how long it would be until you would get estimates, because maybe they could estimate that also.
Yes, it all could potentially work out together, yes, absolutely. There's a couple other little spots too that potentially, we'll have a chat about that.
Okay, thank you.
We'll also be fixing that sidewalk panels across from the
Oh,
gazebo that are, so that'll be part of that same thing. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, Shannon, can I have a roll call, please?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is approved, resolution is adopted. Okay, we'll move on to item 11B, acceptance of fire department resignation.
I'll make the motion.
Support. Moved and seconded to accept the resignation. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 11C, Resolution 2026-015, participation in the electric vehicle infrastructure program.
So moved.
Support.
It has been moved and seconded to adopt Resolution 2026-015. Any discussion? Hearing none.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion is approved. Resolution is adopted. And item 11D, announcement and acceptance of the 2026 AARP Community Challenge Grants.
So moved.
Support.
It has been moved and seconded to accept the 2026 ARP Community Challenge Grant. Is there any discussion?
So I just wanted to say for the micro grant, which is the walk audit, our hope is to slow down the traffic on Main Street. Like people have told me well, I know too because I walk, sometimes it's really hard to get across Main Street, and even when you're crossing at the little signs there, a lot of cars don't stop. I'm sure you run into the same thing, Dan. So our hope is with this walk audit that we can team up with the Department of Transportation and maybe install something to help slow down traffic or make traffic more aware that it's a congested area in our city.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And item 11E, City Hall and Pavilion HVAC project updates. I think we covered most of that in the agenda setting meeting.
I don't have
Yep. If anybody has anything to add for thoughts on that? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to item 12, external communications, we have none. And item 13, open public forum, if anybody has anything.
I have two things.
Oh, Tyler's coming up.
That's all right, you can leave the mic on for him too.
No, I ain't going up there.
You gotta go up there.
I told her already.
Oh, well then you gotta go up there so you're on the record and people can hear. Oh,
Tyler Ness at 215, 217 Main Street North. I just, on record, want to thank the city for understanding the concerns, regarding concrete and issues in front of our building. Obviously, it correlates to other locations. I know the public gets confused because they think it's our project and our issue. And I appreciate the city actually trying to work on that, and find a resolution. So thank you.
What do you got, John? Come on up.
Well, okay, I got two things I told Mike already about it. The hole by the recycling right there, there's a dip there, it should be filled up with, kind of the stuff that mill feed. Because when it rains, it's that much water in there, it stays in there. Number two thing, when I was coming back Sunday from the lake, at that side where Voyagers, looking at across the lake right there, there was 4 bikes right there, and they're reading inside. You can't see nothing out there but the popple trees. That's been going on now for years. I guess it's time to clean that brush out of there. I don't know who's gonna do it or what, before we get a logging company in there. That's all I got.
If I may, I had a conversation with I had a conversation with our Public Works crew lead, who actually was not in today, wasn't feeling well, but I did ask him directly about this because I thought this might come up. And the plan is to get this addressed potentially as early as the end of this week, depending on time and the heat. It may not be easy. So yes, definitely on the list. Definitely a plan to get it done. Keep hammering us until we get it done.
Okay. Is there anything else to come before the council? Hearing none, I'd like to hear a motion to adjourn. Moved and seconded to adjourn. Discussion, hearing none. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned, 18:51.